Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video, and we are flying out the tornado again. So thank you all the members, all the patrons, and make sure to subscribe. We are trying to hit 50k until the end of the year, so help me out there. It helps a lot. Once you subscribe, YouTube algorithm actually helps a little bit more. So yeah, let's get into it. So today we are going to fly out the tornado again, the infamous tornado, right? Everybody's talking basically trash about this aircraft and saying that it's just very bad. And I can agree with one thing. It is a difficult aircraft to fly. I don't think it's particularly trash or anything like that. I think it is very good at its job. Everything else that it's not supposed to be doing, it's not that good. That's just obvious, right? I kind of did a video on that talking about what is the main problem actually of the game in general of War Thunder, right? And the tornado is the perfect example of that, to show a little bit of what is the problem. Of course, it can be used as a ground attacker in ground RB, in ground battles, but it's not that effective as well. If you have played that, and if you have played the aircraft itself, if you tested the aircraft, you already can feel that the aircraft is not good at diving. It is not that it's not good at diving, it's not good from recovering from dives. It is really hard sometimes to just maintain a properly good dive position and then survive. Sometimes you actually have to be really careful with that, because of the swept wings and the way that the wings are, and smaller wings and stuff. So all of that together with having to have the guided bombs, and not missiles, right? The guided bombs are slower to get to the target. Even in ground RB, the tornado is not perfect. It will still get destroyed by a lot of AA systems. Maybe in the future we will get anti-radiation missiles on it, and that would make a lot of difference. But still, once we get that, once we cross that bridge, we will talk about it again. But right now, it does struggle in many positions of the game, and it's not its fault. It's not because of the aircraft. It's not a bad aircraft. It's a very fast, very heavy payload bomber, and it is a very good aircraft for that reason, for that specific purpose, right? Flying low, of course, there's some stuff that I do think it needs to be added. For example, the radar. We need the ground avoidance radar together with maybe the autopilots that can actually fly very low, especially for simulator battles. But still, in ARB, I think it's just an aircraft that it's out of position. It's out of place. It doesn't have everything that it should have to be able to work properly, right? And not even in the aircraft itself, on the game modes. We have a very straightforward, kind of repetitive game matches right now, and that makes it so that these aircraft are very hard to actually fly and maintain it correctly. As I said, of course, you can use it as a ground attacker in ground RB, but even in that, it has a very small area of attack, and with a lot of AA systems in this BR, which can be very frustrating to actually fly this thing even on that. So it is very much out of place. The only thing that it can actually do properly, and it's actually better than a lot of other aircraft, is actually bombing stuff. Actually bombing bases and carpet bombing convoys and stuff like that, right? But we kind of don't have that many ways to actually do that in a battle, right? So we do need the dynamic type of gameplay that I talked about it in that other video. Maybe randomize like battles or something like that would make it a lot easier to hide from enemy aircraft. Maybe these aircraft can be the first that ever get ECM or something like that, to actually be able to avoid some types of radar guided systems, radar missile guided systems. So I don't know, there's some minor things that can make these aircraft more survivable. But it's not its fault, as I was saying. I mean, it does its job perfectly. It just doesn't have the place to actually do it. So it's problematic, right? It's like, it's the perfect example of how a MiG-25 would be in game, for example. I always talk about the MiG-25 because for some reason a lot of people hate the aircraft because it would be bad, which is, I think it's the oddest thing ever. You don't want an aircraft to be added because it's too bad for the game. It's kind of a weird line of thinking, but still, it really doesn't matter. If it's not going to break the game, what's the problem, right? So yeah, whatever. But still, it is the perfect example to compare to a MiG-25 because MiG-25 is also going to suffer from this thing. It is made for a very specific thing, reconnaissance or interception, depending on the variant. And also bombing some stuff if it's the RB onwards versions, right? But still, they don't have kind of a purpose in game, a specific purpose in game, right? So it would mean that the aircraft would lack a little bit in the performance just due to the fact that it was not meant to be dogfighting in massive fireballs in the middle of the match. It was meant to be doing only BVR from a very far range in mainly bombers. So if we don't have a gameplay that supports that, the aircraft will be bad. So the MiG-25 in the game will be bad. Only in a specific area of BVR you'll be alright. It can do its thing, right? And the Tornado is basically the same. There's a lot of aircraft like this that will be very, very bad at everything else just due to the way that the matches are. And they will be good in one specific thing that it's not very, like, heavily explored in the game. This match, for example, if I can actually get away from the targets a little bit and actually can destroy some ground targets, it's PvE combat, man. Is it that bad to have PvE combat? But, as always, I will try to just stay on my line here with like 5 friendlies nearby, but I still get killed by an F-16 that was flying nearby, and it wasn't spotted or anything like that. So, yeah, is it that bad for people that actually want to play a little bit of PvE and just bomb some stuff with an aircraft that they love? I don't think it's such a bad thing, right? Not everything needs to be PvP and dogfights and BVR, right? So I think maybe one of the ways that we can deal with that is actually more dynamic maps. As I said on that video, check that video out. I spread a little bit more my ideas behind the main problem with the game that I have right now. But yeah, basically people understanding as well that it's fine if people just want to bomb stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's not a big problem, right? Like, the Tornado is supposed to be doing that, so why would you be mad at an aircraft of doing its job? It's like being mad at an F-16 doing dogfights or something like that, right? No, it needs to be doing ground striking because it doesn't make sense, right? So yeah, the game needs to be a little bit more supported. Here we have an example of the things that you need to actually make sure to bomb. You need to actually have a lot of fighters and around you defending yourself, which is something that doesn't allow, the game doesn't allow to happen too much, just due to the fact of matchmaking and just, you know, the stuff that it is like this. So yeah, I don't know, it's problematic. I understand. It's not something very easy to fix as well. I think dynamic maps and other stuff like that, it's, you know how it is, it tends to take a lot of time. But if they do actually fix that, it opens up a lot of aircraft that can be added. A lot of bombers, a lot of attackers, a lot of aircraft like that. And it will make it so that everybody that likes these aircraft will be happier, and it will have a purpose, right? Right now, there's not much of a interest or even like a reward of actually flying these aircraft. You just suffer a little bit flying those, so that would help a lot. So yeah, guys, but anyway, this is it. Just to actually kind of explain a little bit why the Tornado, it's not bad actually. It's an amazing aircraft. It's just out of its place right now, and we need to be fixed the map wise can not map, but the game itself needs to be more lean towards that to make sure that these type of aircraft can actually have a fighting chance, right? So yeah, but anyway, let me know in the comments what you think about this aircraft, and I see you guys on the next one, and subscribe. Bye guys, see you.